Hey guys, this is the long version of the short video that we did with the latest update, which is should be out 10th or 11th of June. Yeah, it's been a big week for R&D, a big week for getting like pre-orders out, and also some of the Kickstarter rings that we were able to get out. Been dealing a lot with the factory, getting prices sorted and stuff, because they're basically trying to muscle us on prices. So we've got a bunch of other factories on board, but it's taken a long time. So I'm going to run through the update, and then I'll just basically cover it in more length as I usually do. So the first topic is the alphas. So they were the alphas. You remember they failed QA. They didn't polish them properly, and so we do 1900 at the end of this week. Now we could probably expect that 10% may fail on QA, maybe up to 20%. Let's hope that it's not that high. But it just means that we can get loads of the outstanding orders out, especially the collection. Most of the collections are just waiting on the alphas now, and that will get us up to 85%, which is nice. But it's June now, and they were supposed to have been finished by October. It's just left, yeah. And then we've got the issue with the sizes 8.5, 10.5 and 12, and that's because so many of those failed QA. And then they basically, because they failed so many rings, they destroyed so many inlays that we ran out of inlays, so we had to place another order for them, which is a 4-week lead time. So it was just knock on basically from incompetence. But good news is that they are ordered. They start being built on Thursday, the 12th. The blanks are already done, so it's just inlaying, gluing. So they've got 21 days from the 9th. So they'll be due in 20 days from now. We've said 3 weeks, so yeah, 20 days about right. And that'll also include the custom rings, the custom order rings, which are supposed to have the custom artwork on and stuff. Like we said in the last update, we got about 10%, or maybe like tops 20% of all of those delivered, and none of them were engraved, and they basically just forgot to do the work that they were supposed to do. So we've asked them to push those through as quickly as possible, along with the 8.5, 10.5 and 12, which are the rings we don't have in stock. And then we get those end of June, basically, out early July, which sucks, but again, there's not that much we can do really to push things forward. We've taken the steps required, which is bring new factories on board, but they take a while to get kind of up to speed and making prototypes and stuff. And of course, with me going away as of tomorrow for a while, I'm still going to be on email, but doing stuff like conference calls is going to be difficult, and general chasing of the factories is going to be difficult. So I've left that in the capable hands of Tom, who's going to be chasing the factories, just to make sure that there is progress happening where there needs to be. So the other thing is the stealth bomber updates, and you probably won't be seeing this light. Let me get some more light up in here. Right, so bring this light over. So it's probably difficult to see. I'll bring the camera up. Oh yeah, you can just about see. So you can see the kind of carbon fibre. So we're actually making this polymer fabric ourselves. It's not carbon fibre. It looks very much like carbon fibre because we're using a twill. The twill is like the pattern that gives it the weave format, and like this, up like that, chuckity. And that's what gives it the 3D. And this isn't the 3D effect. This is genuine. This isn't like some cheap half-baked solution. This is real, very, very expensive, very custom solution that's specific to us. We've not, let's say, this is our own polymer. This is our own weave that we're using there. This is our own twill. We do have some issues surrounding it, so it's great. What we've been able to put together is great. Oh, by the way, actually, I can show you. Let me just bring it up. This was if you see there, bring it and get good light on it. This was the old proposed solution, which is almost like so this isn't a real twill, this is a fake twill. You don't get much depth in there, and if you compare it to that's the real twill, you see right away the depth of colour that you get. So that's our newest one. This is the older prototype one. Again, the newer one. So you can see the depth of colour contrast that you get with the new twill. It's been a lot of work. We didn't want to, well, we still don't want to announce anything officially. This is obviously like an unofficial announcement to where we're at. We've got a long way to go still on that, because we're basically creating a new type of material that we're putting into the ring. It's not a brand new material. It's not like we've discovered something on the earth, but we're using it in a way that's probably never been done before, from what we can find with what we've from our research. So the cool thing about that is we get to change stuff like the depth of the twill, and we get to experiment a lot. The disadvantage is that it takes a long time to do all of these prototyping phases. So we're doing all of the R&D in the UK and all the prototyping in the UK for the carbon fibre stuff, because we actually have quite a lot of specialisms in carbon fibre in the UK, which is awesome. And I think that's because of our F1 and racing routes. So we've actually been quite fortunate that we've been able to iterate pretty quick and work with some pretty cool companies. Chris is going to be leading on the dev of the fibre whilst I'm away, and because I'm away for and because there's no way for me to do like resin tests whilst I'm in London, right? I mean, imagine taking resin and stuff like that on the tube, as well as a Nerf NFC gun that's got a load of electronics hanging out of it. I think the TfL police would get a little bit paranoid. So yeah, Chris is going to be leading on the R&D of the fibre whilst I'm away. And basically what we're trying to do is get it to a point where we have a sheet, a big like A3 sheet, and then we run it under a guillotine, boom, at 6mm wide. So we get strips. And then what we do is we coil the strips up. This is theoretically. Hopefully what we'll be able to do then is coil the strips up and ship them off to the factory for them to set them into, well, the factories. And this is another advantage of us doing it this way, is that we control the material. So if one factory says, oh, we can't get that material anymore, we're not scuppered, because we can provide it to all 3 or 4 factories or whatever. So that's great from our perspective. That's where we're at on that. This is very, very fresh, new discoveries for us. This is this week's discoveries. We will probably update the stealth bomber stuff in about 2 weeks. One thing I will say, let me cover the material. So the new blank for the stealth bomber is leaps and bounds ahead technologically of what we've got in the current rings, and it's almost like going from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2. We may not call it the stealth bomber because of that, and the reason we're umming and ahhing at the moment, and again this is completely unofficial. The new material costs us a lot more per ring, and there's no way that we could do it at the normal stealth bomber price. It just wouldn't be feasible. But what you get for that additional price is a way more superior product than what we listed on Kickstarter. So the Kickstarter ring, we shipped a load of stealth bombers out, and they're okay, they're great, they're good rings, they look great, they perform great, but we've basically, because we've learned so much in the 4 or 5 months, we're kind of umming and ahhing now. So the best thing for Kickstarter backers will be that we did like the new ring, that we're working on, or basically it's come from the stealth bomber, but it's not the same. There is no components the same. The ring bank's changed, the materials changed, the epoxy's changed, the antenna tuning's changed, the absorber layer's changed, everything. There is not a single component which will be recognisable from what we shipped out with Kickstarter stealth bombers and what we shipped out with this new ring. They're totally different things, and the cost of us to make one wouldn't be feasible for us to make one under Kickstarter prices. That's just the way that it works. But what you get for the money is a way different ring. I wouldn't say that it's better. So the read performance is higher, so it's great for Note 3, Blackberries, probably like other devices that have got small read range. But for example, the HTC One MA, it doesn't change it because that's got a tiny sweet spot because of the design of the phone. It doesn't change it for Windows Phone devices, for Nokia devices. It doesn't change it for the Huawei devices. It doesn't change it for Sony devices. So it caters to to the needs of a specific problem. And I have to be careful not to give too much away because we're still learning, and I can't disclose everything as much as I'd like to, simply because we're being copied a lot, not only in China but also Korea, and actually I won't say it's fair to say Korea, but there are other companies that are trying to make an NFC ring, and we're releasing software open source, we're releasing all of our 3D designs open source, but I don't think we can release, well, we can't really afford to release all of our in-house prototyping open source until we've figured out the best way. Once we figure out this is what we're doing, we get a manufacturing process in place, then we can release it. So I'm just being a little bit tentative about disclosing too much about the products, the materials that we're using. But safe to say, the next version of what was the stealth bomber, I'd like to call it the Apache, but somebody came up with a great name the other day. We have an internal code name for it, which I can't release again, but that's got a cool name. We need to figure out how we're going to handle a Kickstarter. People saying, well, I ordered a stealth bomber, I got a free replacement ring. That's cool, but I want the new stealth bomber, and that's not going to be feasible for us or realistic for us to ship 2 rings for free and it be the new stealth bomber. So I think the new stealth bomber is going to go up at about $100, something like that. So it's quite a bit of a price increase, and that's just because for us to make it costs us a lot more. So yeah, if people have thoughts on that, how we could handle it, I think the best compromise we can do is that, because everybody's due to get a free replacement ring anyway on the carbon fibre side, I think what we do is we just say, well, your free replacement ring is to the value of $50, which is roughly the price of on the store. We give you that, and then if you want to buy the new stealth bomber for say $100, then you just top it up. So you could still get a free replacement ring. You still could buy an NFC ring, the original ones that we were able to make during Kickstarter. But this really is a different product on a different spectrum, and it performs differently, and yeah, everything about it's different. So it's not fair to us for us to have to provide this ring free of charge, because it's nothing like what we were making during Kickstarter. And it's not about us being greedy. It's the cost of making it is that much higher, way higher than what people, for example, the collection people paid like £17 per ring or something like that. It's 51, and sometimes they got 4 rings, because nearly all of them got 4 rings, so 51 divided by 4. It's hardly anything. £12.50 a ring. I mean, it costs them way more to make them. So those people, from a business perspective, we have to, say, right, well, we can't run at a loss for 1,000 rings at £12.50. Let's say we lost £10 per order. Well, we can't afford to lose £10,000, because that's someone's wage for 5 months or whatever along those lines. I'm not sure exactly. Anyway, so that's where we're at with the stealth bomber. That's our thoughts. That's my thoughts up to that point. Let's move on to that app. So, NFC ring unlock. Basically, a bunch of people were getting locked out, including extremely important people. And everybody's important, but these are like our investors and stuff. Whoops. Yeah, so we decided at that point that it was time to make it a little bit less easy to get yourself locked out of the device. And so what we've done now is we've added some extra usability stuff. So when you enable the security, it says to scan the ring, yeah, we've documented a bunch of the 2 form factor stuff's been documented better by Locky. That's great. We allow non-caps now in the verification code, so if you do a verification code reset, you can use non-caps characters, which is good. Just loads of little small stuff like that, really, just like tiny bug fixes, and they're all in production now, so you'll have those on your phone. Obviously, all of the major bug stuff, like it randomly coming on, they've all been resolved, so it's a lot more stable now. Yeah, the next thing really on the Unlock app is just think about features, but June the 16th is the big important day for the Unlock app. So let's see what happens. I will be. When is June the 16th? What day? Monday. I will be at the NFC Forum event on Monday up in Edinburgh. I go down to London and sleeper train up to Edinburgh, and we're presenting there, doing a lightning, I don't know, whatever they're called, speedy 2 minute, 5 minute presentation, whatever, and we're showing off all of our tech there as well. Yeah, a lot's going to happen on the 16th of June potentially, around the Unlock app at the Google I/O event, so stay tuned to that. I'll probably miss it, so if someone from the community catches it and can keep an eye out for anything that might affect us as a community, especially surrounding NFC and APIs, then yeah, keep your ear to the ground. We can't mention anything official yet, because we don't know, because this is Google and working with Google is it's tricky to say the least. But if somebody from the community can stay tuned to the event, can post anything of any relevance up to the forum, and maybe bump me through an email, that'd be awesome. Because like I say, I'm not going to be able to watch it, and I probably won't be able to catch it on the night because, as you know, at these conferencey events, the evenings tend to be taken up with social shindigs. So I'll probably have to hang around with NFC Forum guys, and that'll be good because I'll get a bit of an insight to where NFC is going, and kind of more the future side of where we'll be able to set the rings. But the disadvantage is that I'm going to miss a Google I/O event. So, and then the next thing is NFC ring control. So we just basically added some more languages into there, and then I did some minor bug fixes just with like the language selector and stuff. It's a really nice stable app actually. It's NFC ring control. It's written in Apache Cordova, and it'd be quite nice to have some more community contribution on it. Because it's JavaScript, it should be really easy for people to get involved, and I've even got some branches with some new features. I'd quite like for somebody to jump in and help me out with the test framework. At the moment we have like simulated browser-based events, and I can click through it and use it as if I'm using it in on the phone, but it'd be quite nice if somebody from the community could actually write a testing framework in something like Jade or Mocha, or not Jade, I meant Mocha. Yeah, anybody from the community that can jump in and help, that'd be proper awesome. And it'd probably move us forward a few weeks in getting features into the NFC ring control. Next one that I want to do is I want to add VCAD support, so you can select contacts and just push them straight to a ring. We just did Intents, which means you can go into your web browser, click share, and NFC ring control will be listed there, and you'll be able to push the URL straight to the ring. But yeah, adding VCAD support along with adding a larger IC like the NTAC 216 will be sweet. And I think if we got that functionality into the software, it might push us to make the investment for NTAC 216. And it's a big investment, NTAC 216. It's a minimum order quantity of 1 million units at 9 cents each. Big order. And we're doing good on sales, but we have to figure out how to do the sales marginy bit on selling a bigger IC. So the way that we're seeing it at the moment is we're seeing it as like, like if you buy a laptop and then you upgrade the hard disk, or if you buy a mobile phone and you buy like the 4 gig version or the 8 gig version. Well, we see the ring as being like the same thing, where we'll provide a 4 gig version and an 8 gig version, but that means we've got to manage more stock levels, which means handling double the stock for every colour. And at the moment we're just trying to huddle down onto the core products, the core 3 rings, the classic, vintage, and I can't remember what the other one is now. The other one. They're all awesome, and they're all by far the prettiest rings that we make, best looking. So we need, it's not only the cost of the initial IC investment, we have to then do twice the amount of inlay production runs, which costs us twice as much. We have to pay twice as much customs, we have to store twice as much stock, we have to manage it, which takes twice as long. So if we do get people contributing and saying this is something that I really want, and they write code that makes that move faster, then we will make the hardware investment, just because we've had other people contribute, do their part, so we'll do our part kind of quicker. We are doing our part anyway, but it'll just push us to move forward quicker if that's something, a functionality that you want. Okay, so the next thing is our 3D models. So a guy in Australia, a good friend of mine, not Lockie actually, which is a surprise, we do have 2 Australians, helped me out big time and did our SolidWorks files for us. Now, getting these engineering drawings done was a nightmare because the compression of the absorber layer as it's curved changes the arc diameter, so we had to get a bunch of gauges made. It's taken weeks, it's taken months to make what we now hope is the right 3D models. So these 3D models are in SolidWorks formats, but you can use them in FreeCAD. I use them in FreeCAD. You can use them in pretty much any software, and we provide pretty much every format. Good for 3D printing, good for lathe work, good for milling. You're available on GitHub, so people are willing to jump up and make contributes and pull requests. You can add comments to them, make pull requests with comments in. So yeah, really, what that shows is that what the reason we needed those is because the new factories that are coming on board, we wanted to have one set of engineering drawings that they all worked. So what we didn't want was for them to kind of freestyle and we end up with different rings coming from different factories. That'd make no sense because then there wouldn't be a consistent NFC ring product. You can tell I'm getting way more corporate by the way because I call it product. I don't particularly like that this part of the transition. It's kind of, you kind of lose some of the romanticness, if that's a thing. When you're working on, or when you're making something like the ring, you're very much involved in it and you see it through that whole process. And I think once you start, I mean, documentation is obviously super important, and we had a lot of like spec sheets and stuff, and we were documenting everything. But I think you, once things start scaling, it just becomes a little bit less romantic because you end up dealing with 4 factories instead of 1. And I don't know, it just feels a bit corporate. It's not really my style. But anyway, I digress. Next thing is London. I'm going to be at Devox UK. I'm going to be taking the Nerf NFC gun down. I'm taking down some of our new artwork stands, which are monstrous, kind of comically monstrous. A bunch of rings. May take some prototypes down with me, may not. Problem is I always lose them because I'm an idiot. But I will be in London, and so yeah, really, if there's anybody that's got this far into the this video, then well played. You've done well. And if you're in London then and you just want to meet up for a beer, I'll be kind of Angel area. In fact, I will be in the Angel area pretty much the whole time that I am there. Earl of Essex is my usual beer haunt. The show is at the Design Centre. And yeah, email. You guys mostly know my email address. If not, drop one through to support or tweet at John McClear. I may pick up the NFC ring tweets as well, so at NFC ring. So just if you're about in London and you want to see some of the rings or see some of the prototype stuff we've been working on, then give me a shout and I'll be happy to meet up with you. And then the kind of the last thing is, I'm just reading through to make sure. Yeah, the last thing is what we're going to do with these. Oh, by the way, just before I touch on this, we didn't seem to have much progress on people talking about share options and buying shares in the project. I'm not going to lead on that. Like, it needs to be community driven. I know there was some minor conversations, but I think there needs to be a full structure and some decisions made by the community. I can't. Well, firstly, I don't have the time, but secondly, it doesn't make sense for me to lead that because I want the community to take ownership of that part of the business. If there is somebody that's really interested in it, I know I've had a few people email me and say this is something that I want. Well, you need to be proactive about taking action. You can't expect us to be dealing with that and sorting it out. It's a community project, so you guys need to lead it. But it's up to you. Ultimately, I want you to be involved, and we are offering this out. But it has to come from the community and be led by the community, and we have to, facilitate you guys. Okay, so final thing. Fail visual rings and fail read rings. So we've purchased 5,000 at a reduced price. This is just so they don't get sold by China to the black market. And so we can think of some cool stuff to do with them. But we can't sell them as NFC rings. They are not to the quality we'd expect. But what we can do is give them away to developers, which we have been doing. Lockheed's been managing that. They've been going out to community members that have been working on cool projects. So people have been getting free rings. Now, what do we do with the rest of them? So we have still, let's say Lockheed's given out 100, probably not even that many, but let's say we've got 4,900 QA visual fails now, and some of them are read fails, they're random. We have also the potential of buying the other 6,000. This is how many visual and read fails we've got. We've got 11,000 rings in total. 11,000. You know how many we've sent out? Probably about 11,000. We have the same amount of QA fails that we do good rings. Bonkers, isn't it? But we can do something with these. They're not like complete write-offs. They a lot of people wouldn't notice that they were visual fails, for example. We are just incredibly pedantic, and so we should be, because this is our project, right? This is something that we're working on altogether. We're working really hard to achieve. We expect a high level of quality in our software. We expect a high level of quality in our packaging. So we expect a high level of quality in the core product, which is the ring. But 11,000 rings sat in a box doing nothing is no good to anybody. So we have some options. Free rings to the community if they pay for shipping and packaging. I guess that's one. Sell them in bulk, so like bags of 100, but with clear instructions that they're not to be resold. Whether people would accept that. So the risk of us doing that is that people just whack them on eBay, and what we don't want is for the NFC ring to turn up on eBay at like $10, $20, way below our asking price. It just damages the brand. We don't want people, the perception of how the ring quality is to be reduced because you can buy it cheaper on eBay, and because 100 of them hit eBay. We don't know, we won't be able to provide a warranty with these rings, and that goes without saying because they will basically be seconds, so there'll be exclusive clause in there that this ring will be provided without a warranty. But none of these solutions are perfect. The perfect solution is to just give them away, right? To like every backer gets one or something like that. And with the proviso, with the understanding that you don't get access, that they're not QA tested, they've failed QA, so they don't work with the NFC Ring Unlock app because we've not registered them yet. There is a potential that we could do that at a fee, because obviously we'd have to put the time in to do the second part of our QA testing. The first part is QA, is visual. The second part is read. If it fails on visual, then it often doesn't get through to read. We just put it in a visual fail box and it goes back to China. So really we need to know what you guys think about that, how you think we can use these rings. Again, we've got 5,000 already, we can buy another 6,000. It's a lot of rings. I don't have the answer, and again, this is where you guys come in. All suggestions are welcome, but we cannot take a financial hit on these, so we cannot ship more free rings. We've already done 5,000 free rings or something like that because of the carbon fibre and the replacement rings. It's not realistic for us to provide any more free rings on top of what we're already providing. Mostly because of even if it costs us $5 or whatever, $10 to buy a failed visual, even just the shipping and like all the extra fees of packaging and stuff puts it up by another $10. So we're making a $20 loss on every ring, and we'd have 5,000. You're looking at a $100,000 loss, which is not something we could possibly maintain. So yeah, if people have got any suggestions what you would like one of these rings for, then leave it in as a comment or post it on the forum. And forum tends to be the best place for structured conversations. Comments tend to be a bit of flame war sometimes. Not a comment on the YouTube video because we tend not to respond to that. Well, we tend not to be as quick to respond to them as other places. So jump on the forum maybe and just have a structured conversation with people and see if we can come to some sort of agreement on, not agreement, but just like a general consensus on what people think the rings would be best for. So this is the end of this video. Again, a very, very, very long one, and that's what these videos are always about. Congrats, you've made it to the end. Hi to Buys, hi to Lockie, hi to everybody that's part of the community. Thanks for being involved. Thanks for backing the project. We'll be quiet now for probably 10 days, maybe 15 days. As soon as I can get the next update out, I will. But really, it's going to be R&D. So whether we will cover much in the next update is to be seen. So take care, guys. Speak to you soon.